Hello everyone, it's Tammy here with Card Designs by Tammy. It is a very dreary, snowy day here in Iowa where I'm at. So hopefully the weather's a little bit nicer where you're at. We're here getting about 10 inches of snow today. So it is a wonderful day to stay inside and make some cards. So today I am going to be making some cards using the upcoming Flowering Tulips Bundle, and this will be in the upcoming mini catalog that comes out January 4th, so just in a couple days here. I'm very excited about it. It has a larger suite that comes with paper as well as another bundle, the Tulip Fields, that I'll be featuring in another video. But it has very pretty designer series paper, which I've shown before when I did an unboxing, but I'll just kind of quickly show the different sides here. And this paper is 12 by 12 and lots of pretty fun spring colors in it. So I've used several different sheets here that you can showcase. But again, it comes with a fun layering stamp set that has a lot of layering tulips that are fun to play with. Some really nice spring sayings, Mother's Day, thank you. And then it also comes with a set of dies. And again, there's lots of different dies, and I have cut all of these out so that you can kind of see what they all look like, and have a couple cards with most of the different dies. But let me show you kind of what all of these dies are. So one of the funnest things is it has these 3 dies here, along with this one, and then these here. There's 3 of these, so you can punch out multiples at one time, which is really nice. They make some really pretty tulips that you can build, and you will see me build them here. But essentially they cut out these 3 different tulips, and they have scores where you can fold them, and then you can build and make some, you know, 3-dimensional pretty tulips on your cards. And there's one more. There's the other one here. So it's these 3 here. This one just folds in half, and then it has this little piece here that layers inside, along with this single little petal that layers in back. So I'll show you putting it together, but I punched out several of them here just because I was playing around. And so these are nice because, again, they can add a lot of nice dimension to your cards. And then there also is a long, thin stem, which is this die right here. And then there is this shorter stem here, which actually coordinates with the stem stamp in the stamp set. And then it has these 2 leaves coordinate with the leaves in the stamp set, so you can punch them out. You can stamp them and punch them out, or just punch them out if you don't want to do that. Don't want to stamp them. I personally like to stamp. We have some other eyelets here. These 3 punch out the images in here. So these 2 will overlap to make this, and then there's a little stamp that'll go in the middle. these two, this is the darker stamp, and then you stamp this lighter and it fits right in there. And then this here, again, it has the lighter and then the darker accent there. And you'll see me I'm going to make the cards and show you kind of how a couple of those layer. There also is a fun little grass stamp in the set, which actually can get punched out as well in the dies. And then this die also has this piece here, which is kind of unique. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, but essentially it'll print out a background. So you could easily, one of it shows like just a layered background, and it just has some of those pieces punched out of it or cut out of it just to give it some dimension. So that's kind of a fun, unique die. We'll see how I use it. And then this die here is really neat. It punches out like this, and essentially I would just cut off this part here, although actually when I used it I didn't use the whole thing, so and so it prints out this fun little tulip field that then you can put on the card. And it does not punch out the bottom, it only punches out the top. And so you saw how I actually cut it off because technically it won't punch out the whole thing. So that's kind of a fun die, and I'll show you a card at the end where I use this fun die. But I'm not sure if I'll use it very much, but it's a really kind of nice background, also border die. So those are all the different die pieces. And again, today we'll be using, we're going to make this card, so I will show you how all of those little pieces layer. So today we're going to be making this card here. And let me get all the little pieces out. I have pre-cut everything just to save some time. So I am using a Poppy Parade card base that is just a standard size 8.5 by 5.5 folded in half. I have cut a designer series paper. I used the one with the fun tulip in the background, and then there's also that side, but we're going to be using this side. And this is cut as a standard mat at 4 inches by 5.25. And then we are going to be using a piece of the layered vellum. Now this is from a different suite that will be coming out in the catalog called Artfully Composed, and it's the layered vellum, and basically it has 6 sheets of vellum. No, 8. Oh, I can't remember how many sheets, but essentially it's vellum that has different designs on them, and the designs are, they have sheets that are in black and sheets that are in white. So I took one that had kind of writing in white and thought that that would look cute over a layered piece there. And this vellum is 3.25 by 4.25 inches. And so then what I did is I stamped 2 of these leaves, 1 of these leaves, and 3 stems, and die cut those out, and those are here. So I stamped the image and then used the dies to cut out the image. And then I cut 1 of each of the tulips in Poppy Parade, and this is Pear Pizzazz, this color here. And then I punched out 2 of these pieces in Petal Pink, and then I punched 3 of these little tiny petals, 2 in Poppy Parade and 1 in Petal Pink. And so I will show you how these go together. So let's go ahead and start with this one. This one here folds in half. And so what you do to layer them together is I'm taking the same color Poppy Parade and I'm going to glue it right in the back. So I'm just going to put a little glue. And I'm just going to kind of put it back there where the back just kind of sticks up a little bit. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm actually going to attach it also. Actually, I'm going to use a mini dimensional for this one. So again, this is just another little way to give things even more dimension. So I'm going to put a little Stampin' Dimensional mini one on the back there. And then I'm just going to layer this right in here. Oops, if I can. My fingers, they feel too big today. For those of you who, well, I had another video on here and I was sick over the holidays, so still getting over it, still kind of have a cough and everything, so not necessarily the funnest. And that's how that goes. And then I'm going to just take a little glue right here. Doesn't take much. And then I'm going to glue this piece right there. So that's how that flower goes together. And again, it's nice. It just has a little bit of dimension to it, but it's all secure there. So then we have this one. And this one goes like that. And again, I'm going to take the Poppy Parade and put it in the back again, kind of so it's sticking up. And then I'm also going to attach this using a dimensional, mini dimensional. And again, I'm going to put that just down there. And then for these, I'm just going to put a little glue kind of right here so that this corner here is held down just a little. And and it's not wanting to stick today, so okay, good and stuck down. So now we are going to take this, and one way that you can tell which direction these flowers go is there is an imprint on the back, and I don't know if you can see it on the video there, but you'll want it so that it basically is going upward there. That'll tell you the direction that it goes. I think on the other one I put it the opposite direction, but okay. So then I'm going to take this and I want to figure out exactly how I want to layer this one in here. Yep, and I think I'm going to do it towards the top so that it's showing off the top a little bit, but not at the bottom there. There we go. Okay, and then for this one, I'm going to put the dimensional on this here. So that part will have that. And then this piece sometimes kind of sticks underneath there. If not, it'll come up and that's okay. So that's how you put the petals together, or how I put them together. Now on this card, you can see I use different colors for that one, but I decided to use all the same colors here. I think I like the way that looks a little bit better. So that's how you put those little flowers together, and I think they just make such cute little elements. So now we're going to take this and we're going to layer everything. So I have the smaller flower in the middle, And I'm going to put these here. And I'm just going to get them set up for now. And then I will glue everything in place. Okay. And I'm going to have them all meeting in the middle here. Okay, so I'm going to put these down first. And let's put the middle one down first. That'll be the easiest one. And this just takes a little tiny bit of glue. Ooh. Not too much at all. And it'll stick down just fine on the vellum. Okay. Now let's do this one. And then this one a little. So then we're just going to kind of layer in these. And I think we'll kind of put that right about there. So let's put this one in first. And then I can just glue down the flowers. And I'm going to put a ribbon over here, so that bottom part may look a little bit funky, but that's okay. Ribbon will go over that. And it's okay if parts of the flower hang off over the vellum, because the vellum will layer, so it's much shorter than the card. So you can see, even though this has lots of pieces, it actually goes together fairly quickly and just makes a really pretty card with a lot of fun dimension and elements to it. Okay, so then I'm going to use, this is the window pane check ribbon. So this is an evening evergreen color, and this comes with this the Flowering Tulips or Flowering Field, I can't remember the exact name of the suite, but the suite that this bundle comes in comes with this. And I'm actually going to make a bow. Because I want kind of a larger element to it. And the last, the example I made, I didn't make a bow. I didn't make a big bow like this. I had it just going across, kind of stuck to the paper, but I wanted to make an actual bow. I think I meant to, but I ended up gluing it before I put the bow on. And I think I forgot that I was going to do a bow around it. So, but we will for this one. And I just want a real kind of nice big bow. And oops. I didn't use, so there is a trick to tie upside down with bows, because then it'll lay better. And I did not use that, and so my bow was not laying correctly. So we will try again. So there we go, and now I will just fiddle with the bow a little bit to get it so that it's laying how I want it before I trim it off. And again, a little bit bigger bow than I usually do, but I wanted it nice and big to kind of cover those stems there. Okay, so there we go. Can't get my bow just right. Okay, so now I'm going to actually adhere the vellum with dimensionals this time. So the nice thing is I can see where the dimensionals need to go on the back. Usually, of course, I'd put them at the corners, but with vellum, you have to be careful. Yeah. There, and I think I put one down there. Yep, and it's not going to show through. Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. So there's the front so far. So now I'm going to just glue this onto the front of the card. I am a big, I don't know what kind of stamp sets everybody else likes, but I just really, I love flowers. I try not to get too many flowers because I know they're not everybody's favorite, but I definitely love flowers for cards. They just make such pretty cards. Okay, very good. So, so there's that. Now, the last part of this card is well, there's two pieces left. The inside, I need to stamp the inside, and I need to stamp the saying. So for the inside, I'm going to use these stamp sets, and it's kind of hard sometimes for me to remember which one is the darker one, but I believe that this here, which is this stamp, the stamp with more of the flower, I use a stamping off method, and then I use the other for an accent. So I'm using Poppy Parade, and I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on the paper. And then this one, I'm going to use full strength. There. And then that'll be for the inside. And then for the saying, I'm going to use the Just Thinking of You Today stamp, but I'm going to cut it off. So I had all my other stamps all set up here. I will just use the back of this one. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm actually just going to cut it. So, I'm going to turn it over. That looked like it had a line. So let me try it again here. There, that's much better. Not sure why. The other one had kind of a line to it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of cut it first, and then I will try to get it more straight. And so I'm basically just cutting the Thinking of You. And there. And then I'm going to adhere this with a dimensional and some glue. Because I adhered the vellum with the dimensional, so if I adhere this with the dimensional, put this off to the side there. And then that will glue right to the vellum. And then the layering will be perfect size. And sorry, my husband is vacuuming and my dog opened my door. Okay, so let me put this in the middle then. And then this card is almost done. There. So there we go. So this is a very nice, fun, easy card. And I kind of used the template. There was something like this in the mini catalog. So I kind of used it to model this after. But this is the first one I did. And this is the one that I did today. So very fun. You can see all the layering with the tulips there. So that is this first card that shows all the layering. So then I'm going to show you kind of the stamping layering. And so I made a couple other cards here. This one and then this one that kind of are just stamped. So these don't have any dies on them. And so I'm going to show you kind of the layering of two of the flowers here. So we're going to kind of make this card here, which is real easy. Now this card for Christmas, somebody gave me some white note card. Well, they're white cards. They're an unusual shape. They're 4 inches by 5.5. And most of my standard card bases are 4 1/4 by 5.5. So they're just a little bit more narrow. But essentially using it just because I think it'll make a cute card. So the sizing of this are a little bit off than a traditional card, but you could easily change the dimensions. So I'm using this really pretty pattern paper for the front of it, and then that's kind of the back, but I just love the Poppy Parade and the Petal Pink. I just really like those colors. So those are just going to go on the top here. So I kind of wanted to show you a little bit today the layering of the dies, but then also the layering of the stamps, and show you that you don't necessarily need the dies. These cards with just the stamps are just as pretty, I think. I really like them. So this paper here, I did a very narrow border. So I cut this paper at 3 7/8 by, it would be 5 3/8. So just gave a very narrow border all the way around. Since the background is white, I wanted to use more of the paper. And this here is, again, it is the 5 3/8, and I believe it's 2.5. Yep. And then it's 2.5 inches wide. And that's what I'm going to be stamping on. And so I can show you all the fun layering of the stamps. And so we're going to be using the Poppy Parade for the flowers again. And this time for the stems and leaves, we're going to be using Evening Evergreen and Pear Pizzazz. So we're first going to take the stem in Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to do it kind of up there. Oops. And that did not do well. I ended up getting it all over the side. So let me try that again. That is why paper has two sides. There. That's better. All right. So, and then I'm going to be doing one in Evening Evergreen for the flower that's going to be kind of more towards the front. Perfect. Okay. And then we are going to do a small flower or a small leaf in the lighter Pear Pizzazz. And that is going to go right along that stem right there. And then we're going to be taking the larger leaf and we're going to do it in the Evening Evergreen. And we're going to do one right there. And then the other right over there. Oops, shoot. And let's see if I can get it. There we go. Nice thing about the photopolymers, you can line them up again fairly close. Okay, so now we're going to take this fun little grass. And again, that just makes such a nice little fun layering piece here. We're going to do it in the Evening Evergreen down on the bottom. And then I'm going to wipe it off. And then I'm going to do it in the Pear Pizzazz up at the top. And wipe that off good. Okay, so that is all for the leaves. So I'm going to close those inks so I don't get ink all over. And then we're going to start the layering with the flowers. So I'm going to again use that larger flower. Again, look at the one that has more of the flower. I'm going to stamp it off. And then stamp it right there. And then I'm going to use this larger flower for the inside as well, and the envelope. So I'm again going to stamp off and stamp it right there. And for the envelope, there we go. So then I'm going to take this one and we're going to do it full on Poppy Parade. So again, I'm still using the Poppy Parade. And I use the Stampin' Off for the background piece of the flower and full on for this accent. Let me get it all lined up. Perfect. So then we're going to also use this kind of smaller tulip, and it also has two pieces. And for this one, I'm going to use the larger one in full on Poppy Parade. And I do that first. And then we're going to use this one in the accent. And we're going to stamp off. And I think for me, there's a rhyme or reason. I tend to, usually I do the lighter first and then the accent, but with this one, the lighter one just really fits right in, and so it's easier if I do it last. But a lot of times I'll do the Stampin' Up! First. And then we're going for the saying. I am going to use the hello, and this is not from this stamp set, but from Sentimental Swirls, which is another one that will be coming out in the mini catalog. And mainly because it just fit right there very nicely. Okay. And that's all there is to that. So hopefully you can see how easy and fun it is just to layer up all of those pieces for stamping. You can really make a nice scene. And again, I'm going to use the window pane check ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a knot around it this time. There we go. Kind of put that towards the bottom and try to get it centered. Trim off the ends here. And then this just gets glued down. And again, I kind of offset this a little bit. And again, this is cut so that it's even with the designer series paper, not the card. All right, and the last piece to this one are some brushed brass butterflies. And yes, I purposely say that slow because otherwise it's difficult to say. And these also come with this suite, and they are just adorable. I just love these little butterflies. And I like them because they're nice and flat, so they won't add pointiness. They'll add a little bulk, but not pointiness to the cards. So that's nice. All right, so there's that one. So again, nice, fun versatility with this set. You can layer with the dies. You can layer with the stamps. You know, add that background of the paper and just make some really beautiful cards. And here again is just another one that I made using. This is Mango Melody, is the fun yellow for that. And then the last card that I wanted to show you, I told you that I'd show you a card where I used the dies, the tulip background dies. So that's what this card uses. So I basically use the dies and cut the background tulip field in Poppy Parade, Rich Razzleberry, and Petal Pink. And I just layered them and put them on with dimensionals, and then put the fun windmill that is from the Tulip Fields Bundle. And what are those dies? Let me get the dies. Those are the Windmill Field dies, and I will do a video with those, but they come with this really nice big windmill that you can layer, and then has this fun little windmill that you attach with a brad, and then it will actually spin. So I really liked that element. So that's how I used these background dies. Yeah, so I like these background eyes, and I love layering them like that. Again, it's just something that gives just nice added elements to your cards. So anyway, so those are the cards that I made with the Flowering Tulips set. I hope you enjoyed those. And again, these stamp sets and dies and paper are coming out January 4th. So just in a few days here. So they will be really nice. There's lots of fun things in the new catalog, which if you've watched some of my past videos, I've done several unveilings. So, but I wanted to show you how all of these pieces work and some fun projects that you can make with them. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and hit that like button. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.